I was recording, and I was looking to start branching out into other bands. I was going to record them. I didn't want to make it a living, but I wanted it to supplement the income that I had. So I really just kind of hoard myself out. I wanted $2 an hour, $5 an hour. Just record bands. I wanted to get like a portfolio completed, so I had something to show people at least. And then maybe when I got that together, I'd up the price a little bit.
Rob knew Taylor through a mutual friend, Tanner.
Tanner Dumas.
He was actually in my digital photography class with me, and I was making a cover for my band, whatever. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I got this band or whatever. We're looking to record or something." And he's like, "Oh, my buddy Taylor records." I'm like, "Really? Well, hook us up, man."
So we decided, you know what, we're looking for at least a demo.
I ended up texting Taylor and seeing what we could set up.
Basically just gave him directions to my house, and then he came over.
We ended up showing up to his house with all our equipment.
Showed up with all our fucking gear ready to go.
I was unaware that they were going to be full-fledged on Let's Go for the first day. I thought it was going to be like a meeting. But they had everything in hand, ready to record.
We wanted to go right then and there.
Hey, we brought everything. We're not going to talk about anything, we're just going to jump into it.
Could have been a 3-year-old at a computer pressing a button. We didn't know.
We got acquainted. Actually, I went outside to meet the band, and I walked out into my driveway, and as 2 cars were pulling up, and as they were getting out, I heard Taylor Kramer?
Show up at the house, I'm like, Taylor Kramer!
There's Jeff, I do know him. I sat behind him in 11th grade English class.
Changed a lot from high school, with the Liberty spikes and the black makeup and the fucking heels and the tight pants and shit. Sitting behind me in English class, fucking. Used to talk metal and shit with Bill Dagler.
Yep.
And Taylor.
And we weren't the best of friends, but I let him borrow my Slipknot DVD once. We talked about music every once in a while.
I don't remember him letting me borrow a DVD, Slipknot, but
I did. So we met up with Taylor, and after our first sit down, like a meet and greet, we were listening to some of his recordings.
I had to demonstrate what my capabilities were.
And we were pretty stoked about those. The recordings were pretty cool.
They were sick. They were way sick.
I guess they were pretty impressed. So we went along with it, and got a few songs worked out. They came back maybe the next day, maybe a couple days later. The next few times they came back was without the vocalist Chris, and I was questioning when the vocalist was going to come in and lay down the tracks, and they were saying that he didn't really have anything written.
Chris didn't really have vocals down. Like, he had lyrics written, but he didn't at the same time. It was kind of like we went to a show and he would kind of make up whatever he had on the spot. Sometimes it sounded good, sometimes it didn't.
We had tracked everything except vocals, and we could never get Chris Shunkin to do vocals. So after a while, we knew Taylor. He had done many recordings by himself and did everything: drums, bass, guitar, vocals, and we loved everything he did. So
we all left his house after the first day we met him, and we said, we want this kid.
So we asked him, just if he wanted to think about it and maybe throw some lyrics down over top. I mean, just so we had some sort of demo together.
And the vocals we thought were pretty awesome. So pretty much the decision was made there that we were kicking Chris out of the band.
We asked him, we're like, hey, we're really needing a vocalist who can sit down, write, record, do whatever. And we asked him, and he said he'd do it.
So then I think we kind of piddled around with not telling Chris about our decision for a while. And none of us were really sure at first what we were going to do. So we did some recordings with Taylor and laid down some cool stuff. And then we all met at Tim Hortons one day, Danny, Jeff, Rob, and I, to discuss our decision. And And then we actually had Danny call because none of us felt like doing it.
I had to kick Chris out, which sucked, to say the least. So I had to deal with everybody's shit.
We broke up with Chris on the phone, and we said, you know, it's a mutual thing. You know, it's not you, it's me. So the deal. Yeah, get your things.
So after that, we had gotten the demo down. Taylor did some vocals, and then we kind of just pushed him into doing a show right off the bat.
Taylor had no idea.
I asked when the show was, and they turns out it was 6 days from when they asked me to be in the band. I had to come up with lyrics and you know, everything for 7 songs in 6 days.
That was potentially the worst show I could ever recall. Really, outside of Extreme Wheels, I never want to play there ever again.
My rig kept fucking up and cutting out. And
Yeah, don't make it sound like it was my fault that the show was bad.
I did the show. I think we did all right. I mean, Ken and Danny seemed to think that was the worst show ever. But
Worst show
maybe
ever.
it was probably just, it was my first show, so I was excited about it.
We had a couple of people show up, and they said the only lyrics they could understand was "die." That was the only lyric that Taylor had for a certain part. It was screaming "die."
that was probably not the best start for Taylor and the new band. So after a while, we ended up, you know, taking a break from shows. We wanted to get a solid set down, get Taylor all situated with vocals, lyrics, you know, whatever he needed to do. So we decided to sit down, record all over again.
So we started doing more recordings at Taylor's, kind of revamping them, trying to do stuff with a click track. After the guitars were pretty good, we weren't satisfied with the drum tone.
Decided that the way that I was recording drums just wasn't cutting it. You know, it might have been okay for a regular rock band, but it wasn't cutting it for a metal band. One of the beer distributors from work, a backstock guy from 7-Up or something, his name was Jacob. I started talking to him. Really super awkward.
Jacob. Awkward Jacob. We met up with Jacob, who did a great job recording.
He worked out of some studio in Buffalo, and I asked him about rates, and he said he can get us a deal. It was like $25 an hour. That was cool. I only wanted to do the drums because I thought I had a pretty good sound with guitars and vocals. So we went in and we did the drums. It was like 4 or 5 hours. Ken pounded those songs out pretty fast. It was cool. It was a really nice studio. I was very impressed with everything, really. He did an awesome job. The only thing that's like about the whole thing was he gave me a folder full of just all the recordings. None of them were labeled. None of them were. It was just, we did 5 tracks. I don't know if we did all 7. We did at least 5. So 12 tracks. There's 60 tracks. None of them were labeled. So I literally had to just listen through of one track going and find out what song that hi-hat belonged to.
I have to say, the drums sound awesome. I didn't have to mess with the 14 tracks per song, which was fine with me.